part of the reason of doing this the way I'm doing it is to make Issa Showa more affordable for people.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode on the channel, and today we are again with Ricky here at Koi Wholesale. And in our last video we did the Hiutsuri koi appreciation, and in today's video we are going to show you the Issa Showa. We picked out 5, we just did it together with Chris, of course again with Ricky, and yeah, we're going to show you those amazing 5 fishes. In this series I visit Ricky's facility in the UK and several koi ponds. In the description of this video there is a link to the playlist with all the episodes. And in this video we discuss a number of fish of the Issa Koi farm with an eye for all details.
Yeah, so 5 really nice Issa Showa that have all been raised since, I think these were about 15 to 18 cm Tosai from 1,500 pieces that I bought earlier in the year, or late last year, I can't quite remember. Been doing really well. The pond, in all honesty, has had a lot. We've been overstocked for quite a long time with these, just through lack of space outside to move fish away. But yeah, the results are really coming now. They're looking a lot better. I think you can see some real strong Issa Showa traits in these fish, certainly in the body, and we're seeing that now as they're progressing deeper into the growing season. You can find a video on my own channel of these earlier, back from the first selection, to really sort of see the progress of them, which I think will be good to see. But as always with Issa, you get a lot of different styles, a few key traits. So obviously the body being the strong one that is really consistent with Issa Showa. We can see on every fish here such big heads. I mean, just look at the head on that, the mouth as well, huge mouth. Huge mouth. I mean, this one as well, it's just crazy. The sort of width of the head on that, and the size of the mouth again, and then this one, the length of the head on that, insane. So that's really nice. That is a real basic genetic trait of Issa Showa, which in most examples you will find. It's just so strong, and this whole body power. You do get a lot of sort of body shape variations with Issa Showa, which is quite normal. Some on the extreme side almost look slightly deformed. I never forget the first time I saw big Issa Showa. It was quite a trend back then at the farm that yeah, they looked so disproportionate. There was so much weight just behind the head and then taping down. This is actually part of the body that made him famous, because the Asian customers absolutely loved it and sort of went crazy for it. So I'm glad to see he's sort of worked on it a little bit since then, because I found it a little bit too intense, in all honesty. But now we've just got pure power, which comes from the huge parent fish that this guy's using as well, which is so important. So yeah, like I say, lots of different styles. We can see the Benny quality is really consistent throughout all these fish. Really nice. And remembering these are still right in the growing mode at the moment, so conditioning is not the biggest concern at the minute. But you see that looks so much pigmentation to come still as well. This fish is absolutely superb. So much shine and luster there when you see that across the sumi, the Benny, just everything popping. Just what we like to see. And yeah, then the different styles, Issa Showa and Kindai Showa, sort of a match made in heaven. But you do get the more traditional sort of style looking fish like this one as well. And what you see in here is there's elements of the patterns that me and Yivo were actually discussing, where yeah, there might be fish here where you would love to see a little bit of Benny, say on the peduncle here, or maybe something there. But ultimately you've got to remember 2 things here: price range. Part of the reason of doing this the way I'm doing it is to make Issa Showa more affordable for people, especially at this size, because if you've ever been there yourself and you try, even the entry level Nisai Issa is such a crazy price that it's just off-putting. And those fish, in all honesty, at that entry level have so many faults. Unless you're the very first person at the harvest, you can maybe find 5 or 6 good fish, but other than that it's hard to do. Then as you move through the price gears, honestly it just gets so crazy, because the demand, the guy gets the price, so he's not afraid to ask it. And that was my idea behind this whole project, is that if I could buy enough of the Tosai, I know I would get enough still very good fish out at the end of it that basically undercut even the price ISA offers during the autumn. And so yeah, not everything's perfect, but that's also something with Showa that's important, because what's going to happen, say with this fish, the sumi when it's finished will be so dominant in that area that your eye at that point won't pay really any attention to what's going on in the beni pattern there. It's something I've been speaking about for a long time now, that Showa is about the balance of three colours, not what many have been taught, certainly in the UK, I'm not too sure in Europe, but about Showa needing to have a kohaku pattern. Showa with a nice kohaku pattern do look very nice at times. The structure is quite pleasant, but I think many of the Showa in recent years that have really won our hearts from the All Japan Koi Show, when you actually strip the sumi away, there is no kohaku pattern underneath. Yeah, there's nothing. It's the sumi that makes it. So I think that's really important to look at when you're selecting young Showa for sure, and then giving them the patience, because it is all about that sumi. And obviously it's understandable, like with this fish, you know, it's not the most attractive right now, but there's a lot of sort of raw potential in there. The body's not quite filling the bone structure yet, which is just down to the environment and the stocking, but with some more intensity that will start to happen. We've got areas of the sashi here which is all consistent, so there's going to be a lot of refinement to come from the sashi in those areas. Kiwa's really good, no complaints there, but we're just really mainly waiting for the body to come and the sumi, which we can see progression on the head. The nice thing with the Issa sumi is it's very, very reliable. It's the sort of sumi we can see here that sits deep in the skin. That's why we get this sort of Kage effect where it sits grey, and what you can see underneath there is this sumi slowly keeps surfacing from deep in the skin coming to the top. But when this sumi does actually complete and get there, that's when we see that real magic sumi that is like true ink. And because what's happened is over the years it comes from deep in the skin, it creates layers, it keeps glossing and gets deeper and richer. It's a slow process, you do have to be patient, but it's well worth the wait when it eventually gets there. You can see a couple, you know, slightly more progressed in areas here. This sumi is sort of more finished in the areas often on the beni, because the beni sort of acts and sits underneath the sumi to push it up a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, these are all great prospects. I think obviously ultimately these two are the super standout pieces. Just got that extra level of body power, which really adds a lot of value to koi in Japan especially. You'll often be looking in a breeder's pond, and it might be that the more attractive fish, maybe something like this or like this, you think will be the most expensive because of the pattern based elements, but body is the real ruler in high quality koi, and in Japan will dictate so much around the price of the fish. So yeah, can't wait, get these back in, really start pushing them now to the end of the growing season, and see what the end results are like.
So we talked about the sumi.
Yes.
You already mentioned it. Isa has their special sumi.
Yes.
And what I mean with that is that it takes a couple of years before the sumi really comes up. So when you're buying even Sansai from Isa, you probably will have the same light sumi that is still underneath the first layer of the skin, and it takes a couple of years before it really ends up. So really the finishing of the Isa Showa is much different. For example, if you compare it with Danichi.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah. Really worth the wait. It's just that one of those breeders you do have to be patient, but to be honest, I found the sumi to be very reliable as well in coming through. Some of this sumi in some bloodlines can be the sort of like the eternal tatigoi dream, as we call it, where you think it's going to come and it never actually does. That drives koi keepers crazy, but with this it's not really the case. I've found none of the fish really have done that, but you do have to be patient. It's a process. Over the winter period, with the temperatures down, this will increase, the sumi will come more, but then it can fall back again slightly as we get back into the next growing season. This is all normal, but I'd say it's a journey, but in the end the age will kick in and the maturing process will take over, and you'll get the stability in the finish.